Hey everybody, Josh here. I just want to weigh in on some things. I got caught up in the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, as I'm sure some others may have. As I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, what are you doing with your life, Josh? But it's interesting because Amber Heard's defense team, Amber Heard herself, and most of her witnesses, or at least the doctor that the psychologist that she employed, that gave testimony the other day in her favour, are good examples of woke or social justice thinking. And Johnny Depp's lawyers and the team and the way they conduct themselves with their witnesses are a good example of traditional justice, natural justice, where something happened and you sort of asked questions directly about what the truth is. So if you're watching it, you might feel uneasy when you're listening to Amber Heard talk or her lawyers ask questions and wonder, what are they doing? Well, what they're doing is they're trying to play on social justice stereotypes, identity politics, with the presupposition of woke gender identities. And they're losing kind of badly, I suppose. I mean, we've got to wait for the judgment, I suppose. But in my estimation, they're doing a really bad job. Whereas Johnny Depp and his lawyer team are trying to focus on what occurred when cross-examining the witnesses to test for truth. And they're doing much better. Amber Heard is basing a lot of her testimony on emotional information, not a lot of facts, just emotion. And Johnny Depp, not much emotion. He's at least trying to convey factual information as far as he understands it. And as far as I can tell, there is one grievous bodily injury that occurred in that relationship that you can't just explain away, and that's Johnny Depp's severed finger. And at the same time he suffered the severed finger, apparently, allegedly, Amber Heard put a cigarette out on his face, on his cheek. Now, I've seen the photos of Amber Heard's bruises, and they don't look like bruises to me, to be honest. It looks like makeup. There's no swelling. There's no that classic sort of red center where the blood is a bit dried. If anything, they look like very old bruises or makeup. And there's testimony from Johnny Depp that she's faked injuries before using makeup. It's not necessarily a fact. Johnny Depp claims it's a fact. So you've got someone who allegedly threw a full bottle of tequila or whatever, vodka, to a stone chair. Johnny's finger was poking over the edge of the chair, and it hit his finger and the chair, and caused quite a severe injury. And when someone causes an injury that they didn't mean, or causes an injury far more severe than they intended, their usual reaction isn't to go and burn a cigarette into someone's cheek. Their usual reaction is, oh my goodness, this has gone way too far, I'm sorry, or something like that. Maybe even calling an ambulance and storming out, or maybe even just storming out. But the fact that he suffered a cigarette burn, like, that's adding insult to injury via another injury. So for me, that's the center of the case. There's no, you can't explain away that evidence. He injured his finger. You've got to explain how he injured his finger. And Amber Heard is claiming that he hit a wall, and he's claiming that Amber Heard threw a bottle at him. Now, I've worked in medical circles, and to have an injury like that to your finger, you would have to explain to me how punching a wall would cause that injury. If you hit it with a hammer, if you hit your finger with a hammer, you may suffer an injury like that. So let's just say Johnny Depp hit his finger with a hammer. Johnny Depp's retort was, why would I do that? I'm a guitar player. I love playing guitar. It's kept me alive since I was a teenager with horrendous upbringing. I'm not going to jeopardize my band and my music and all that sort of stuff to get back at Amber Heard. He would have thought of a different way. He would have thought to injure a different part of himself, is the implication. And I kind of believe that. I play guitar. I've been playing guitar for a long time, and I would agree. You'd hurt your face because it's so much more obvious and terrible. You wouldn't hurt your finger, something you can hide. If you were going to set someone up, you'd cut your face, or you'd cut your eye here and you'd beat it up a bit so that you'd have a bruise. I mean, he's an actor. He'd go serious to put, he'd be pretty confident to do something like that, to play a role. The idea that he injured his own finger to set Amber up, or that he punched a wall and that's how the injury occurred accidentally, just absolutely doesn't make any sense. So if you're watching this trial, it's actually an important trial, because it's important that when it comes down to telling the truth, that the truth is taken seriously. Socially and, somewhere in life, you can get into arguments with people that are completely unreasonable. You can't reason with wokeness because it doesn't respect reason. It thinks that reason is part of the oppressive culture. And so it uses emotion and relationship. And often, because they don't believe in truth, lies are okay too. Whereas I don't believe Johnny Depp is woke. He might be a liberal in the sense that he's left politically, but I don't believe he's woke, because he's older. So it's going to be interesting to see how this trial turns out, and whether the judge or whether the jury has the courage to make a good judgment. But it's interesting to watch, because wokeness completely fails under scrutiny, logically. Completely fails. It does not have a logical or reasonable leg to stand on. And you need to know that. You need to know that wokeness cannot win if it was a fight between wokeness and traditional reason in a ring together. That's why people who are woke often avoid questions, avoid conflict, avoid being tested, avoid everything that they can, do everything that they can to avoid being under scrutiny. They will appeal to emotion, they will accuse. It's all emotion, and I'm a victim. And at the end of the day, in the court of law, you've got to prove something. And wokeness can't prove anything unless they choose or cherry pick when to go logical and tell the truth and when not to, which I think is happening here. Amber Heard, I think she's trying to save herself right now, and I think Johnny Depp's going to win. But We'll see.